In the rush of daily life, it's surprisingly easy to miss how chaotic our mornings have become. For many of us, each new day begins with a tug of war against the snooze button, followed by a mindless scroll through notifications. Breakfast? Often forgotten or reduced to a quick granola bar eaten in transit. These habits may feel trivial, even necessary at times, but they carry a hidden cost. Each one quietly chips away at our energy, focus, and emotional balance. When we wake up and immediately react, whether to alarms, emails, or the pressure of being late, we surrender control of the day before it even starts. This reactive mode becomes the default, creating a current of anxiety that pulls us through the hours ahead. The result? We begin each day drained, disoriented, and disconnected from our goals. These patterns are the silent thieves of our potential, stealing peace of mind and productivity long before we even get to work. Time is the one resource we can't manufacture, borrow, or extend. That's why the first hour of your day holds such powerful leverage. It sets the tone, pace, and emotional climate for everything that follows. Think of your morning like a runway, either smooth and clear, helping you lift off confidently, or cluttered and chaotic, making every movement feel turbulent. Even 30 to 60 minutes of intentional time in the morning, whether for journaling, a quick workout, quiet reflection, or just a proper breakfast, can change your trajectory. It gives you room to lead your thoughts rather than letting external pressures lead them for you. The old proverb, "The early bird gets the worm," isn't just about waking early. It's about rising with clarity and direction. When you start your day with purpose instead of panic, you stop chasing the clock and start designing your life. Let's take the story of Sarah, a marketing manager in her late 30s who was no stranger to early morning chaos. Her routine consisted of repeated snoozing, skipping breakfast, and diving headfirst into emails the moment she opened her eyes. The mornings felt rushed, reactive, and relentless. The rest of her day followed suit, stressful, unfocused, and perpetually behind schedule. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine provides some hard data to back up this experience. Researchers found a strong correlation between frequent snoozing, more than twice a morning, and increased levels of daily stress and fatigue. Additionally, those who skipped breakfast regularly performed 15% worse on mid-morning cognitive tests compared to those who ate a nutritious meal. Sarah, it seemed, was living out this data in real time. Eventually, the stress began to take a visible toll. Sarah's productivity waned, and she became increasingly disengaged at work. Even small tasks began to feel overwhelming. Then came the breaking point, a minor car accident on her way to work after another sleepless, frantic morning. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the incident was a jarring wake-up call. That moment forced Sarah to pause and reevaluate the way she was starting her days. With guidance from a therapist and a few practical self-help resources, she began re-engineering her mornings. She started by waking up just 30 minutes earlier and refusing to hit snooze. She used that time to drink tea, eat a balanced breakfast, and sit quietly without checking her phone. Slowly, she introduced short morning walks to get sunlight and fresh air. The results were nothing short of transformative. Within weeks, Sarah noticed a significant shift in her energy, mindset, and focus. Her stress levels dropped, her productivity improved, and she began to feel reconnected to her purpose, not just at work, but in her personal life too. That one small investment in her morning routine, just a half hour of intention, paid enormous dividends in well-being and performance. A powerful morning doesn't begin with a to-do list. It starts with clarity. Before we talk routines and rituals, it's crucial to pause and reflect on the why. What truly matters to you? Is it peace of mind, spiritual grounding, physical wellness, or perhaps it's focused ambition or creative fulfillment? These core values are more than preferences. They're your personal blueprint. When you align your mornings with them, you're not just waking up, you're waking into purpose. Far too often we find ourselves copying the morning routines of high performers without checking whether those habits actually resonate with our own lives. A morning routine, to be meaningful, must be personal. It should serve your long-term goals and reflect your values, not someone else's idea of success. When your mornings are rooted in intention, they transform from chaotic beginnings into sacred ground for growth. Ask yourself, what would your morning look like if it truly honored your purpose? What small intentional actions could become rituals that reinforce your values? Transformation doesn't begin with the clock, it begins with alignment. Let's move from intention to imagination. You wake up with calm, not chaos. The room is softly lit by morning sun, and you have space, mental, emotional, physical, to ease into the day. What would this ideal morning include? Maybe it's a few pages from a book, a quiet prayer, a light stretch, some journaling, or a warm drink sipped in silence. Whatever it is, it's not about productivity hacks, it's about wholeness. Visualization is more than a daydream, it's a creative strategy. Athletes use it, leaders use it, artists use it. When you clearly see your best morning, your brain begins to carve a path to make it real. Once belief takes hold, behavior follows. And remember, there's no right way to do this. Your morning doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It should reflect your own colors, your cadence, and your convictions. Think of it like building a quiet cathedral at the beginning of each day, one that prepares you not just to survive the day, but to own it. There's something intuitive about the idea that a strong morning leads to a stronger day. But now, science is catching up and confirming what many have felt all along. A thoughtfully structured morning routine is more than just nice to have. It can be a game changer for focus, performance, and overall well-being. A 2014 meta-analysis published in JAMA Internal Medicine reviewed 23 studies and found moderate, consistent evidence that mindfulness meditation improves attention and focus. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of morning mindfulness can prime your brain for clarity. Supporting this, a study by Jha et al. 2010 showed that brief mindfulness training boosted attention and working memory, even in high-stress environments like the military. The benefits of morning exercise are also compelling. A 2019 review in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that physical activity enhances executive functions, planning, memory, and decision-making. Morning movement gets blood flowing and endorphins firing. In one study by Tom Porowski et al., 2008, children who exercised before class saw boosts in attention and academic performance, benefits that translate to adults too. Skipping breakfast may seem harmless, but your brain notices. A 2016 study in appetite tracking over 1,000 adults showed that regular breakfast eaters had better memory and concentration. After a full night's fast, your brain is hungry for fuel. A nutritious breakfast doesn't just satisfy hunger, it sharpens your mind. While it's tricky to isolate the effect of morning planning in a vacuum, time management theory strongly supports it. The Zeigarnik effect, our tendency to remember unfinished tasks, suggests that outlining your priorities in the morning helps you carry them through. Tools like the Eisenhower Matrix, used first thing in the morning, help identify what truly matters and filter out the noise. This builds momentum and minimizes distraction as the day unfolds. Pulling all this data together, one thing becomes clear. A morning routine isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's a neurological and behavioral strategy. When you combine mindfulness, movement, proper nourishment, and intentional planning, you're creating conditions for your brain and body to thrive. While each habit alone offers benefits, the real power comes when they're stitched together in a rhythm that reflects your values and goals. This is the productivity premium, and it's not just a vibe. It's a well-researched, high-leverage strategy to build not just better mornings, but a better life. Big transformations don't require grand gestures. They begin with small, intentional shifts. The idea of completely overhauling your morning routine all at once might sound inspiring, but in reality, it often leads to burnout and disappointment. A more powerful and sustainable path is through steady, manageable changes. Think of them as small hinges that swing open big doors. Perhaps it's waking up 15 minutes earlier or starting the day with a glass of water before checking your phone. These tiny acts build momentum. Over time, they form the foundation for something far greater than the sum of their parts. The key isn't to be perfect, it's to be persistent. Consistency, not extremity, is what creates long-term transformation. Across the world's most successful individuals, there's a shared truth. Mornings matter. The routines may vary, but the intentionality is universal. Let's take a closer look at how 4 iconic figures use their mornings to shape their days and, by extension, their lives. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, is famous for his pre-dawn wake-ups, reportedly around 3:45 or 4 a.m. His early hours are dedicated to tackling emails in solitude, allowing him to address important issues before the digital noise of the world begins. This approach gives him control and clarity, setting the stage for a focused day. His strategy echoes the old productivity principle of eating the frog, handling the most demanding task while energy and willpower are at their peak. In contrast, Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, opts for a slower, more deliberate start to his day. While he doesn't wake as early as Cook, he places high value on morning time with family, including having breakfast together. He avoids scheduling high-stakes meetings early in the morning, saving those for when he feels most mentally sharp. Bezos's routine reminds us that success isn't just about an early alarm. It's about protecting time for what matters most and knowing your own performance rhythm. Oprah Winfrey, the media mogul and philanthropist, integrates mindfulness and self-care into her mornings. She often begins the day with practices like meditation, prayer, or quiet reflection. This creates a calm internal landscape from which she operates throughout her busy day. Movement is also key. Oprah frequently includes physical activity in her mornings, showing that a healthy body supports a strong mind and spirit. Her approach is about centering the self before engaging with the world. Howard Schultz, former CEO of Starbucks, rises early around 5 a.m. and incorporates both exercise and a ritualistic coffee preparation into his routine. That cup of coffee isn't just about caffeine, it's a symbolic act connecting him to the heart of his brand. He also reads the newspaper to stay informed, easing into the business world with awareness and perspective. Schultz's morning blend of personal and professional ritual illustrates how habits can serve both well-being and mission. Key takeaways: whether it's Cook's discipline, Bezos's prioritization, Oprah's mindfulness, or Schultz's ritual, what binds these routines together is intentionality. None of them leave their mornings to chance. They each prioritize self-awareness, protect their energy, and begin their day with clarity. These aren't superhuman feats, they're conscious choices. That means anyone can start doing the same, one habit at a time. In our loud, fast-paced world, silence has become a rare luxury and a profound tool. Just a few minutes of intentional stillness each morning can dramatically shift your mindset. Whether through meditation, journaling, prayer, or quiet contemplation, these moments of reflection allow you to hear your thoughts, clarify your intentions, and reconnect with your inner compass. Ram Dass once said, "The quieter you become, the more you can hear." And he was right. Silence isn't empty, it's full of insight. When we remove the noise, we can finally listen to what really matters: our goals, our gratitude, our purpose. Mindfulness at sunrise becomes armor for the chaos that may follow. You wouldn't start a car with no gas, so why do we try to power through our mornings on empty stomachs and dry throats? After a night of fasting, the body and brain need proper fuel to function optimally. A balanced breakfast and plenty of water aren't just good habits, they're game changers for energy, clarity, and mood. Glucose feeds your brain. Hydration boosts focus. Skipping breakfast or neglecting water intake might save time, but it robs you of your full potential. When you fuel up intentionally, you're not just preparing for the day, you're investing in sharper thinking, better decisions, and sustained energy. Mornings are more than just the opening act of our day. They're the architects of our mindset, energy, and intentions. When approached with awareness and intention, a morning routine becomes a powerful ripple effect that shapes the rest of the day and, over time, transforms our lives. The secret lies not just in what we do, but how we begin. A purposeful morning grants us something invaluable: control. Instead of starting the day in reactive mode, rushing to get dressed, checking messages, or diving into obligations, a structured morning lets us lead with clarity. Even a simple act like mindful journaling, stretching, or drinking water with intention can center us and give us a sense of grounding. These moments set a calm tone, reducing stress and creating the emotional bandwidth needed to meet the day's demands. In essence, we stop letting the world dictate our mood and instead begin from a place of self-leadership. Small, intentional actions repeated daily may seem insignificant in the moment, but their effects accumulate like compound interest. A 5-minute morning meditation won't shift your life overnight, but give it a month and the benefits become tangible: sharper focus, greater patience, a deeper sense of peace. Likewise, reading one page of an inspiring book each day might feel minimal, but by year's end, you've consumed volumes of wisdom. The beauty of consistent mornings lies in their subtlety. They shape character, fuel progress, and help us stay aligned with our deeper values. The best way to predict the future is to create it. This powerful quote by Peter Drucker encapsulates the essence of intentional mornings. Each day begins as a blank canvas. How we choose to fill those first moments is how we begin writing our future. A calm, focused, and empowered morning is more than a routine. It's a declaration that we're actively shaping our destiny, not just passively reacting to it. Across the modern landscape of personal growth and success, many respected voices credit their achievements to consistent and intentional morning practices. These influencers, through their books, interviews, and social media presence, offer relatable and actionable examples of how to own your morning, and by extension, your life. Mel Robbins, best known for her 5-second rule, champions immediate action upon waking. She emphasizes that those first few moments set the tone for the day. The moment your alarm goes off, you have a choice, she says. You can hit snooze and surrender to inertia, or you can count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Her approach reframes waking up as a moment of empowerment, one small decision that builds momentum and restores personal agency. Lewis Howes, host of the School of Greatness podcast, often shares his own morning practices alongside insights from his high-achieving guests. His mornings typically include movement, gratitude journaling, and intention setting. In one episode, an entrepreneur detailed how just 30 minutes of yoga and reflection helped him start his day grounded and focused, no matter how hectic things got later. The message is clear: start strong, and you stay steady. Jay Shetty, former monk turned global motivational figure, frequently speaks about carving out sacred space each morning, whether through meditation, quiet reflection, or gratitude. Shetty advocates for beginning with inner peace. Your morning sets the tone for your entire day, he often says. If you start with chaos and reactivity, that's likely what the rest of your day will look like. His teachings remind us that calm isn't found, it's created, especially first thing in the morning. Marie Forleo, entrepreneur and author of Everything is Figureoutable, is a firm believer in using morning hours for deep work. She blocks off the first part of her day to focus on critical projects before emails, meetings, and distractions take over. Forleo's strategy highlights a practical truth. Mornings are prime time for productivity and creativity. Protecting that time can lead to exponential progress. What unites these influencers is not the specific activities they do, but the principles behind them. Their morning rituals are built on 4 key pillars. Mindset, start with intention, not reaction. Prioritization, focus first on what matters most. Proactivity, take ownership of your time and choices. Personalization, craft a routine that aligns with your own goals and rhythms. Your morning routine isn't meant to mimic someone else's highlight reel. It's meant to reflect you. This is your sacred space, your personal oasis, before the currents of the day sweep in. Crafting an intentional morning is less about rigid rules and more about tuning into what energizes, grounds, and aligns you. There is no universal formula for the perfect morning. What brings clarity to one person might feel restrictive to another. And that's the beauty of it. Your morning routine should be as unique as your fingerprint. Whether it's a sunrise walk, a quiet cup of tea, a burst of journaling, or a short breathwork session, the key is to experiment. Pay attention to what truly nourishes you. Your routine doesn't need to be elaborate or trend-worthy. It just needs to be intentional and honest. The goal isn't perfection, it's presence. As life shifts, jobs change, families grow, seasons come and go, so too should your mornings. What served you last year may no longer feel right today. And that's not a failure, it's a natural evolution. Embracing flexibility allows your routine to stay aligned with your current reality rather than becoming a rigid obligation. Think of your mornings as a living blueprint, always open to adjustments, always responsive to the rhythms of your life. Growth doesn't happen in fixed formulas, it happens in responsiveness, in awareness, and in the willingness to change when needed. Every morning offers you a blank canvas, and your routine is the brush. With each choice, however small, you paint the tone of your day. And just as an artist carefully places the final stone to contain a flowing river within a box, your morning routine is your way of gathering the energy of life and channeling it with purpose. It's your moment to define the boundaries, to focus the flow, and to remind yourself, this is my day, and I get to shape it. In that quiet space before the world enters, you have the chance to create something powerful, something personal, something wholly yours.